Indiana, the third no-hitter in baseball this season. Remember, the Mets combined for a no-hitter as well back on April 29th, and then Reed Detmers did it on his lonesome back on May 10th. And here's a look at those three Astros pitchers. And interestingly enough, the last time the Yankees were no-hit was a combined no-hitter at the hands of the Astros back in 2003. All right, let's break it down with CBS Sports MLB writer Matt Snyder. Matt, the best bats in baseball get blanked here at the hands of the Houston Astros. Sort of a sleepy start to this ball game offensively on both sides, but it holds for Houston. How do you make sense of this performance or lack thereof on the Yankee side and the performance that was on the Houston side?
Well, Christian Javier had something going on that they were just not figuring out. I mean, they were swinging through four-seam fastballs all day. Some of them right down the middle, some of them 95 miles per hour, not like 100 like Garrett Cole was pumping on the other side. And Carlos Beltran on the Yankees broadcast even pointed out, like, he's got something, he's doing something where they're not seeing the ball well out of his hand. Because, again, he was throwing it middle, 95, and you've got Aaron Judge swinging right through it. They were just missing pitches that usually hit, so he had some kind of deception going on. He had really good stuff. He had great command until the seventh. It kind of looked like it was unraveling in the seventh on him. He lost command a little bit, a couple runners on. Giancarlo Stanton was at the plate, and I kind of thought to myself, like, he's going to hit a bomb here, and people are going to say, oh, Dusty just left Javier in because he had the no-hitter going. But then Stanton fouled off 93 on the inside corner, and I kind of thought, oh, man, that was the pitch. Sure enough, he took 95 on the black for strike three, and that ended the inning. Then they took him out, which was a smart move. I know a lot of people might say he had a no-hitter going through seven, leave him in, but he was running out of gas right there. At the time, it was 1-0, so it was a smart move to take him out. The eighth inning was all kinds of crazy. You had the Joey Gallo fly ball almost up against the wall. It looked like it might be a home run, which would have put the Yankees in the lead. Then Judge hits an absolute rocket right at the shortstop. He knocks it down the fielder's choice. No drama at all in the ninth, though. So it was a fun outing to watch. Javier was great and probably pretty deceptive.
Yeah, and quite appropriately, it's Giancarlo Stanton rolling over a hanging breaking ball for the final out of this ball game. But you allude to it here. This Astros staff, how impressive they were on this day, but throughout the season as well. It is the 14th no-hitter in franchise history, first since Justin Verlander back in 2018. But when you take a look at what Christian Javier did here, he's the first pitcher in big league history, which is not something we say often. First baseball insert occurrence here. First player in big league history with 13-plus strikeouts and no hits allowed in a game against the Yankees. How impressed have you been, not just by Javier here on this day, but by this Houston staff this season as they've opened up their own massive divisional lead and now parked squarely in that 2 position in the American League?
Well, they're actually incredibly underrated because if you remember last year, they didn't have Justin Verlander all year. Lance McCullers Jr. got hurt in the ALDS and they didn't have him going forward. They got through the ALCS and the World Series basically like on a patchwork rotation of a bunch of young guys that almost nobody knew who they were. People like Christian Javier today, people like Luis Garcia, Jose Urquidy, a bunch of players that are very, very good pitchers. Well, you fast forward to this year, now you throw Justin Verlander at the top of that rotation. All of a sudden, everybody goes a step down. They're still getting by kind of on being those no-name guys that not that many people know of them, even though they were really good in the playoffs, like I said, and they pitched in the World Series. But this is a really good group. It's a deep pitching staff. That's how they've been able to absorb not having McCullers this year. They absorbed not having Verlander last year. It's just an incredibly deep organization in terms of pitching, not just the rotation, but also the bullpen. That has been on full display this whole season, but also with Javier and his outing on Saturday afternoon in the Bronx.
Whether it be in the Bronx or in another borough, we know New York faithful fans here in the game of baseball are always waiting for the shoe to fall. It's now back-to-back losses, which is the first time that's happened in over a month for the Yankees. They also score 1 run in their loss a day ago. They obviously get no hit, no runs here in this instance. Can you speak some calm into the fan base right now that still possesses the best record in baseball?
Well, I can try, but they won't listen anyway. And I understand that. It's, you know, you go through 162 games. I'm a Cubs fan, and I thought some of my lowest regular season moments were probably in the first half of 2016, because when you have a team that good and they lose several games in a row, you start to think, oh, man, it's not going to happen. Then you get all heartbroken over it. So I understand it. But the reality is, They started 50-17. That's one of the 7 or 8 fastest starts in the history of baseball. They probably weren't that good, so they were going to go through a down stretch anyway. Every single team goes through down stretches. Even like the Dodgers, which won 106 games last year, they had stretches where they lost 8 of 12. So there's plenty of time to rebound. And, they're playing the Astros. The Astros are a really good team. They're one of the best teams in baseball. It's not like they just lost 2 of 3 to the A's or something like that. So it's ebbs and flows. These things happen, but I know they're probably not going to listen to me anyway, and that's okay. That's part of being a fan, and it's part of the fun.
All we can do is extend the olive branch. One last one before we let you go here, as this is only the 4th time this season the Yankees have lost back-to-back games. We heard the Boo Birds out with Altuve at the dish, just sort of fitting this moment within this rivalry. Does this reignite anything between these two teams that are currently 1-2 in the American League?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't feel like much went away. Definitely not on the Yankees side. I mean, they've lost twice in the ALCS to the Astros in Houston. Altuve had the walk-off where he was like, grabbing his jersey and saying, "Don't rip off my shirt, don't rip off my shirt." People are speculating it's because he had like buzzers on, and then the sign stealing scandal happened. Altuve won the MVP over Judge in 2017. I think a lot of Yankees fans are still mad over both of those things. And, they're chanting, "Screw Altuve." I think it was dirtier than that throughout the weekend. And then he goes out and hits the bomb for the insurance run on Saturday. I like it. I think it's fun. I'm not an invested party, so I just like seeing the drama. They're the 2 best teams in the American League. So if we get to see an ALCS rematch, it'll be fun. I like having a little animosity between the 2 teams. So, yeah, I think this has been great fun for baseball as a whole. I mean, if the Yankees are running away with it and they've won these first 3 games of the series, it's probably not near as fun, let's face it.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.